All right. Recently, we've gotten some really good Diablo 4 news. We got Season 21 of Diablo 3 coming up. But I did want to talk about, kind of go back in time to when Blizzard made just a huge mistake with 2018 BlizzCon. I'm kind of sick. I love Blizzard. I love Diablo. Obviously, big Diablo fan, big supporter of all the people working hard over there on these games and stuff like that. But 2018 was such a botch, and I want to kind of relive that a little bit. And I do want to say that I do have some things to say about Torchlight 3, Diablo 4, more of that. Minecraft just released their new expansion. Torchlight 3 has Act 3 out now. Wolcen, I'm still playing that. So there's so much to talk about as far as that stuff goes. But to sort of begin this, I wanted to dive back into the debacle of 2018 because it's so fascinating to me, because the 2019 reveal of Diablo 4, which, I was running around my house popping and excited. Unfortunately, the audience, it wasn't that hyped for Diablo 4. If you watch the celebration or the BlizzCon 2019. And it's too bad. I almost wonder if it's damaged. I don't know, man, if it's damaged forever or if it's just bad luck. Because I think one of the reasons why, if you look back at the video of the Diablo Immortal reveal and the negativity behind that, you see the disappointment in the crowd and by the people. They almost can't believe it, like a child being told we're not going to the toy store, or something like that. It's like this just super devastation. And I think that, in 2018, a lot of Diablo players went to BlizzCon. Like, I would bet more than way more than 2019. So I think that in 2018, a lot of people thought we were going to get D2 Remastered or Diablo 4. So you went with the expectation of Diablo 2 Remastered or Diablo 4, and certainly some Diablo 3 news. In 2018, though, when 2018, more Diablo fans went to BlizzCon than had gone in years.
New skills for you to master. If you want to know more, we'll be back here on the Mythic stage in just a few minutes. For those of you who are here at BlizzCon, thank you. We are going to have...
So that floor was filled with Diablo players, or filled with World of Warcraft / Diablo players, or filled with just people that... But I believe a lot of people were into Diablo. And I believe the reason why in 2019 the Diablo 4 reveal was so kind of like, oh, of course, yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, in 2018, if you had unveiled Diablo 4, the crowd would have blown up. It would have been like a rave. It would have been like, ah! Like, people were going to go crazy. Go look at the Diablo 3 reveal from back in 2010 or 11 or whatever it was. Go look at the Diablo 3 reveal. That's the type of reveal and celebration that we thought we would get when they announced Diablo 4. Why, when we go back and watch Diablo 4, do we not get that reaction? Well, the answer is because the fans didn't go to BlizzCon. I can't tell you how many people I knew that were hardcore Diablo fans, and they were like, I haven't been to BlizzCon in 5 years or 10 years, or I've never gone to BlizzCon, but I gotta go to see this. I know it's, Diablo or this was 2018 rather, Diablo is going to be unveiled, I gotta go. And then they got Diablo Immortal on a cell phone, and they were dead. They were struck. They were just crushed. And so people were just like shocked and furious and sad, but yet hopeful, waiting for they almost thought that everybody thought that there would still be an announcement, that this was some kind of joke or like flirt or like tease, or there was more to come or something like that.
There has never been a better time to be part of this incredible Blizzard community.
Somebody laughing in the crowd.
We have a demo of Diablo Immortal playable here on the show floor in Hall D. And for those of you watching at home, visit DiabloImmortal.com.
Hey, just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
No, it's... Is there any plans to make this playable on PC, or is this strictly mobile forever?
Are there any... the current plan is to be on mobile, both Android and iOS. We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC. Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah.
And so people were still waiting for the good news, like, okay, what else is there? And then it's slowly, the more it went on, the more it became. So we're talking about thousands of depressed Diablo fans who I believe didn't buy tickets to go to BlizzCon the next year. So when BlizzCon 2019 rolled around and they did unveil an amazing trailer and great news about Diablo 4, the crowd was sort of like, I feel like a lot of the crowd was either like, they were fans of World of Warcraft or something, or other fans, and they were like yeah, kind of interested in the Diablo thing, I guess, too. Let's see what happens. And then I feel like some of the hardcore Diablo players weren't excited anymore either, because they had already blown their excitement. And so when they announced Diablo 4, the Diablo 4 people, the Diablo people that were there were actually more like, finally, okay, cool, yeah, thank God you did it, Jesus, all right. Cool, that's happening. So it wasn't, so they missed it by a year. And that's one of those things where, like, if I worked at Blizzard, I could have told, I could have, anybody who knows anything could have helped them. I think they really made a huge mistake. But maybe not in a way from their point of view, because They should have. It would have been better had they had basically said, we have some small Diablo news, but nothing major. It would have been better if they had said that. Nothing major, some small announcements. I don't know. They had to sell tickets, I guess. But because they did that, they got the audience who was desperate for Diablo 4 or Diablo 2 Remastered. They got that audience in 2018. They disappointed them greatly, and then insulted them with a cell phone game. That was the other thing. It was like, we disappointed you, and now we're going to insult you. Like, that was the thing. That's like what all movies have been doing recently. Like, Star Wars has done that to the fans. Like, hey, we're not just going to, like, sort of update Star Wars for the new cultural SJW movement. We're also going to bash the old people from the show that you loved and make them all crappy. It's the same sort of thing. Like, you're spitting in fans' faces. And I don't know if they didn't realize they were doing that. Obviously, they didn't realize they were doing it. I mean, and guys like Wyatt Chang and, like, all these other people that were involved, like, they're so great people. Like, they're such nice people, like, and great people. But I'm shocked that people at Blizzard weren't like, yeah, we can't do this, or there's going to be a problem, But anyway, it's always fun to go back and relive that. We were reliving it the other night on stream in a comedy way on my other show, and it was just funny to go back and watch it. Maybe I'll play some clips of that too, because it's so funny, and all that. But moving on to Torchlight 3, I think I'm going to crack and I'm going to get Torchlight 3. You know, the only reason why I'm familiar with Torchlight a lot is because back years ago when Diablo 3 had come out, a little while after Diablo 3, I had a friend of mine who he already bailed on Diablo 3 really early. I never did. I've been playing Diablo 3 since the day it came out, and I pretty much didn't stop. I think there was a couple periods of time where I didn't play Diablo 3 for like 3 to 6 months or so. There's a couple of those. And, you know, there's been times where I took 2 to 3 months off, maybe, or 1 month off or something, you know. But I always come back to Diablo 3 multiple times a year. It's always fun. And right now I'm in a mode where I've been playing Diablo 3 for the last 2 years, pretty much every season. So I'm in a groove now. But yeah, he bailed on it pretty early, and he was like, you got to check out this other game called Torchlight 2. So we were playing a lot of Torchlight 2, and I thought it was all right, but I never really got into it like I did Diablo, and maybe it's because I didn't give it the right time. And I think I think somebody had like ripped it off or something somehow, and we had rip-off versions of it, offline rip-off mode. It was something like that. I didn't really have like the official game, something like that, and I never decided to buy it. But I did just buy Torchlight 3, so I'm going to play around with it just for fun, just for amusement, literally to keep me entertained until the season 21 of Diablo 3 comes out. Torchlight, you know, a lot of people get turned off by the visuals of Torchlight, by the graphics, how it looks. And I agree that a lot of people like the darker demon and medieval look and those type of vibes, where Torchlight is kind of like a cartoony, like goofy, sort of very lit up thing. You know, and Minecraft is like that because it's Minecraft. Minecraft Dungeons is like that. But I liked Minecraft, but I would say that Minecraft is more limited than any other ARPG. Like, it's just the most limited game in the genre, probably. At least right now, you know. It's not, but it was pretty good though. I kind of enjoyed Dungeons. I thought it was pretty good. So I thought it was pretty cool. But you know, as far as Torchlight 3, I think that it's kind of like if Diablo 3 was more cartoony, right? And most people always say that Diablo 3 is too cartoony. So, you know, Torchlight 3 is like Diablo 3 if it was more cartoony. But I'm not really, you know, I don't really care as long as the game is fun and interesting and the items are fun to find and upgrade, and you can play around with these builds and exciting new things happen, and there's end game to do and stuff like that. Right now, I don't think there's any end game though. So in Torchlight 3, so I don't know how much I'll play of it. I know that there wasn't much in Wolcen when I started playing Wolcen, and I kind of got a little bit addicted to Wolcen. I had a mini addiction to Wolcen, similar to early D3. It was, I really got into Wolcen for a little while. Like, for a couple weeks, I was, like, obsessed with playing Wolcen, which was really good. And then now they have endgame, and they started having endgame stuff, and those became fun to go into the dungeons and or rifts or whatever you want to call them, and I forget what they're called in Wolcen, and to power it up and to make it crazy so you could get better loot, and I kind of found that pretty fun. So hopefully there's a few more things to come to Wolcen to make it more interesting, or seasons and things like that. And maybe there are already, and I haven't checked back on Wolcen. I've been out of the loop on Wolcen for 3 months, so I will check back on it. But you know, we'll see. But Torchlight 3 is definitely something that I'm going to be playing and messing around with. And I'll let you know. You'll probably see me streaming or playing it. Maybe. Hopefully it's good. You know, you can usually tell really quickly with me. I'll give up on a game pretty fast. If it's not getting, you know, keeping my interest right away, I sometimes give up on things too fast. Very early I give up on things. I gave up on Path of Exile very quickly, multiple times. I gave up on Apex very quickly. I've given up on a lot of things very quickly. Games that I didn't give up on quickly, though, became games that I usually loved. I think Wolcen has become one that I played a lot with and I was fond of for a short period of time. And I think I just need to log back into it and go again, and I think I'll be interested again. So I think that's, this is weird, but I've got these different tiers of video games. I would say A tier for me, like A tier video game for me. This is just me. It's not about whether the games are good or bad in real life. They're just, do I like the games? It's all about my personal preference of the game. How does it connect with me? So it doesn't matter if you think, or if most people think it's a bad game or a good game. It's just about how I interact with the game. And I would say A tier is a game that I'll love forever. Until the day I die, I will love that game, and I will still play it at the end of at any point. I'll still play it, and that I have a craving to play it still too. So I would say that that's like super A tier for me. And examples of that would be like Halo, any Halo, Diablo, PUBG, I think, any of the sports games like the Madden or NHL. If you want to go back to an older game, like Toe Jam and Earl, I feel like once every couple of years I pull that out and I play Toe Jam and Earl, and I find the spaceship and all over again. It's weird. I don't know if that's A tier, maybe a B tier, Toe Jam and Earl, because I don't play it that often. I would say that A tier is like often and always, like forever. At least if a game took up that many years. So so I'd probably call maybe Toe Jam and Earl is B tier, right? Like, because A tier is like I'm actively playing it, or I've played it for more than 10 years. I don't know, but I feel like Toe Jam and Earl does belong in that spot. Because Toe Jam and Earl is a game that I still throw in once in a while, even if it's not for 3 years, but I play the whole game. I don't know. So we'll have to. Who cares, right? I'm babbling about whatever. But actively right now, it's games like Diablo and PUBG and Halo and and I don't even think that there's any more. I'm trying to think if there's other games, and I would even say Command and Conquer is definitely A tier for me, because the new remastered came out and I'm playing that again, and I always pick up that game and play it. Whereas something like Wolcen right now is a game that I really like, that I when I turn it on, I play it and I kind of enjoy it, but I'm not like obsessing over it and playing it a ton. So I put that in maybe B tier. I don't know. Maybe that's B tier. And I don't know what C tier is. What's C? If I have an A, B, C tier? Maybe C tier is a game I played once ever but liked it, but probably won't play it again, or I haven't played it in over 10 years, but I loved it. Maybe that's C tier. I don't know. Like Metal Gear Solid 2. To me, that's like just an amazing game. I loved it. I've only beaten it twice ever. One time was with my friend, and the other time was me, but I watched him beat it the first time. But so that game to me, like, I don't really have a desire to pick it up and play it right now, or to like whatever, but like it's very special in my head to me because of beating it with my friend and me beating it and everything. So Metal Gear Solid 2, like, in my head is like C tier for me. Like, it's not something I really play anymore at all. And maybe once in a while I'll put it in just to look at it and go, oh my God, remember this? This was crazy. But I don't really have a desire to play it anymore. But I have a desire to relive it or experience it for a moment, or YouTube it and look up some of the moments and be like, oh yeah, that was crazy. So maybe that's C tier, Maybe B tier. I would say B tier is anything I'll still pick up and play now. And part of this could be because I have kids, like Bubble Bobble or something like that. Like, I'll play Bubble Bobble, dude. I love that game. So I'd put that in B tier because my kids play it and I played it and they like it and I liked it and I still play it. So it's still fun. Stuff like that. I don't know. Resident Evil 1, the first Resident Evil ever. That game, to me, that might be B or A tier because, like, I could pick up Resident Evil 1 and I would definitely play that from the beginning to the end again. In fact, I did it about 5 years ago on my gaming stream channel. I went back and I played that whole thing all the way through. It was crazy. So yeah, I don't know. People have asked me about games, and so then I don't know how to tell them. But those are my tiers. Maybe I'll create a list or something. I'll go through it and I'll talk about the games and experiences or whatever. But season 21 of Diablo 3 is coming up, and I'm really happy to start over with a character and sort of try to make the leaderboards again. I didn't make them last. I don't usually make the leaderboards. I guess it's weird. People would call me a casual Diablo 3 player. But, you know, I'm like I play it a lot, though. You know, like, to me, it's not casual. To me, it's way more than casual. But it's not like I'm advanced or some crazy person, you know? But, I mean, I've been playing Diablo 3 since the day it came out. You know what I'm saying? I made $600 on the Real Money Auction House in 1 month. You know, I've been playing Demon Hunter since day one. I pretty much play solo. I almost never play with anybody. I'm mostly SSF. So, I play about 250 hours per season on average. I think last season was 270 or something. It was the most I ever played in a season, almost 300 hours. Not even, no, it wasn't even that. It was like 270 hours last season. So I guess that amounts to about 2 hours a day or something, 2 to 3 hours a day. So people call that casual. I don't think it's quite casual, but I think it's above that. But I think it's like moderate or something, or advanced casual or something like that. If there was like, I'm making up all these categories in this podcast or whatever. Like if you were, you know, you're somebody who's like an expert, advanced Diablo 3 player, you know, I mean, what is that? You know, are you playing 15 hours a day? You know, then there's people that are just good at the game. They can play way less hours. So somebody that can play way less hours but be better than somebody who plays tons of hours, because the better player has perfect gear and perfect situations and knows how to play faster and more efficiently. I'm very bad. So I waste time. I'm a very big time waster. Like, I will mess up stuff that by now I should 100% know in Diablo 3. This is the reason I don't play Path of Exile. Because my brain, I am dumb. Like, I mean, seriously, I'm not kidding, man. I'm kind of stupid. So when, you know, most Diablo 3 players will be like, oh, every beginning of the season you do this, every time you do that, you do this, and I get going. Well, I will forget things or forget steps or skip over something or make a big mistake somewhere and be like, oh my God, well, that's going to cost me like 2 hours. So I have to write down all the steps to take for a quick start in the season. And I have to write them down on a notepad. And if I don't write them down, I will most likely usually forget one of them. You know? Which is like, and people watch, if I was streaming, would be watching, they'd be like, dude, what are you doing? You forgot to grab your follower's weapon, or you forgot to, you know, you just spent you didn't cash in the Rift challenge, or you didn't do, you know, there was some step you missed. Why didn't you roll for a knife or a dagger? Why are you rolling for a bow, like when you're a demon hunter? You should be rolling for a dagger, because you have pretty good chance, you have 1 or 2 chances of what you're going to get, and it's going to help you either way. Why did you do that? So, like, I make those mistakes still to this day. I forget. And that's problematic. You know, that's why I don't play World of Warcraft anymore either. Because I'd be such a bad player. I could put so much time into it. I could put a lot of hours into World of Warcraft, and I would be bad. Very bad. And in Diablo 3, you know, that's the same thing happens to me in Diablo 3. My wife barely plays Diablo 3 ever. Barely plays it. She picks it up and starts playing. She'll say to me, why did you do this? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing what the build would? And I'll be like, I don't know. I messed up. It's like, I'm just dumb. Like, I mean, there's no other way to put it. Like, I understand things. Like, right now I'm explaining things to you and how I feel and how things are. But when it comes to mechanics and mechanical things, like how seatbelts work and how to build this or dresser or this draw, like, instructions are challenging to me. Do you understand? Like, so instructions are challenging to me. So most other people read instructions and then they understand, like, oh, okay, I get it now. Let me go get it. Like me, I read instructions and I give up. So it's very weird, man. I got ADD, ADHD, and I think that it shows in a lot of these things. So my point is that I am not very efficient. So I think I did, I hit 1,300 Paragon last season. I did 1,300 Paragon to 1,500 Paragon, something like that. And I didn't end up ranking at all on the leaderboard with my Demon Hunter. I was like, I think I completed a Rift 105, and I think the bottom was 108. So I didn't even rank on the leaderboard with my Demon Hunter. Now, I was behind a lot. There was, I think for a week I didn't play or something early on. This season, I'm really, I do a big show on Friday nights that I have to do. And so I only get to play the season for an hour or two, and then I have to start my show. And then so I get really left in the dust when it comes to that. And this season, they're starting during a holiday weekend. I wonder how people are feeling about the holiday weekend start. It's so bizarre. I guess there's a lot of people that are probably happy because they're off, and they're like, cool, I'm off. Let's go. But, then there's a lot of people I feel like have families, and they're like, I got to be up early in the morning, But then there's a lot of people that don't celebrate the 4th of July until about, 3 p.m. the next day. Stuff doesn't start until 3 p.m., 4 p.m. So, you've got time to sleep in on Friday. So I feel like most people are kind of happy about it. And then anybody outside the U.S. doesn't care anyway, so whatever. So how do I feel is just, I wish it wasn't on Friday night. I wish it was Saturday. Start the season Saturday, but that's me selfish because I'm doing something Friday nights. So, I think it'll end up being a pretty big turnout. I think there's going to be a lot of people playing, to be honest. I really do. I think that 30% of the community that's normally there won't be there because of family stuff, or will be there for like an hour or 2, 3, 4. But I think that a lot of the community that normally doesn't get to start for whatever reason will get to start. And with COVID, I don't know how that will affect it. And also, I think that there's a lot of people who just started playing Diablo 3. Based on what I've seen around, I think there's going to be a little wave of people that have just recently purchased the game. They had a big sale to like 50% off the other day. That was huge. So that was big, and man, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy what has gone on. But I guess I got to wrap up this podcast. I really wanted to keep going, but I got all these things I got to do. I'll probably throw you another one later on where we can talk more just about Diablo 3. So I'm gonna do that. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast and video. Evil Spectrum 3. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Hope you subscribe to this channel and to the podcast in the future. This was I think this was really episode 1 for me, for gaming wise. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.